President Trump taking to Twitter this morning to accuse the Obama administration of trying to discredit his presidential campaign back in 2016. Why did the Obama administration start an investigation into the Trump campaign with zero proof of wrongdoing long before the election in November? Wanted to discredit so Crooked H would win. Unprecedented, bigger than Watergate. Plus, Obama did nothing about Russian meddling. I want to talk more about these latest developments with defense attorney and former federal prosecutor Seth Waxman and CNN national security analyst and former communications director for the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, Sean Turner, with us. Okay, so you observed the Obama White House in their response to Russian meddling, and I think maybe we divided up a little bit too. Before the election, where there were clearly sensitivities about looking like they were going to put their finger on the scale for Hillary Clinton, and then after the election. But just fact check that for us. Donald Trump saying that nothing was done by the Obama administration on Russian meddling.
Yeah, once again, simply not true. I mean, when you take a look at what the Obama administration did, first, I think it's important to point out that the Obama administration was extremely measured in decision making. But it was the case that when there was indisputable evidence that Russia was meddling in the election here in the United States, the Obama administration did take some very direct steps. I mean, we know that the Obama administration ejected some Russian officials. We know that that President Obama confronted Vladimir Putin himself very directly, and then after January, we know the administration put out an intelligence community assessment. So there were things that were done after that evidence was presented. What we also know is that it's been more than a year now, and we know that Russia is doing the exact same thing again, and nothing's being done to prevent them from meddling in the 2018 midterm election.
Seth, what do you get the sense that the internal response, either of the intelligence community and certainly of law enforcement, is when it comes to this criticism? Because we've seen the intel chiefs on the Hill. They seem exasperated that they're not being given really the push to go ahead and tackle this problem that it hasn't resolved. It's still very much ongoing.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you're hearing. I mean, Sean's point about what happened during the Obama administration pre-election, I think, is entirely correct. But we're facing a real, live, current problem now leading up in the coming months to the 2018 election. So what's happening today to fix this issue? And we've heard just on the Hill most recently, the NSA director telling Congress that he hasn't been given an order by the president to really dig into this issue. So if I'm in the intelligence community, that's more Sean's spot than mine. But, you know, you have to feel frustrated. You say to yourself, I'm watching this train wreck happen in real time right in front of me, and my hands are at least tied, if not one hand, but two.
The New York Times, Seth, reporting that Robert Mueller's team, the special counsel, has questioned a Lebanese-American businessman and advisor to the United Arab Emirates. His name is George Nader. When you learn this, what does that tell you about where the scope of the investigation is?
Well, I think it's where it's always been, is a bribery charge. You know, you have this quid pro quo, the idea of the Russians giving dirt on Hillary, or the UAE giving favorable business transactions to Jared Kushner, or anything else that's being given to this administration in exchange for official acts. And that is a definition of bribery. And so when President Trump was sworn in on January 20th, 2017, he became subject to that law. But what he also became subject to is that same law 6 months earlier, because if you look at the federal bribery statute, it applies not only to people who have been sworn into office, but also people who have been nominated for office. And that's in the summer of 2016, right where Bob Mueller is focusing a lot of his attention.
Yeah, and there's also a significant potential national security nexus to this. If you recall last year when President Trump kind of broke with longstanding U.S. policy and sided with Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Bahrain, and a blockade of Qatar, that was peculiar to a lot of us in the national security space. Why was the president suddenly, siding with the UAE in this instance, something we'd never done before? And so, in hindsight, now there's some legitimate questions as to whether or not there's a nexus between potential political influence and that decision that he made last year.
And that's what the UAE would want with the Trump administration,
Absolutely.
with those close to him. All right, thank you so much, Seth Waxman and Sean Turner. Really appreciate it.